The Fantasy Footballer Studio is sponsored by Walmart. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in.
It's football time here. Sounded like you said that on a very uncomfortable toilet, Mike.
There was some straining.
I was speaking on behalf of the Miami Dolphins.
Oh.
For it shall be difficult.
Yeah. I like it.
Their offense shall be constipated this evening.
Yeah, I hope not. Because if the Dolphins' offense is constipated, then at halftime it will be about 73-0.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of hope there
No.
for the Dolphins. But
I hope that Jalen Waddle plays.
that was the report, right?
You're going to play him if he plays?
No. I just hope he plays football.
Oh, okay.
That was the report this morning.
Miami.
Was that they hope he plays.
Right.
They have no further insight.
Jade, as the last week we had the decision of the Ravens v. Browns, and the Ravens were laying 11.5. In our pick'em, the office pool, I think it was at 12.5.
Yeah,
that the Bills are laying. Where are you going with that one?
I'm gonna. If it was 22.5, I think I'm taking the Bills.
Okay,
I think I took the Dolphins to cover.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I took them to cover.
Good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That means we get a point, Mike, and Andy loses out on a point. Great.
Oh yeah, are you sure about that? No, I'm just.
Oh, I thought you were gonna almost upset it. I
No.
really want you to.
No, sir. We have a big show today. Welcome in, one and all. It is Thursday, September 18th. We have our matchups on the show today, starts of the week on the show today, news to catch you up on, and a lot's going on in the fantasy football universe. I've been trying to trade almost constantly, move players around. This is a pretty good time to do the sell high, do the buy low. Like a couple weeks in, we talked about data gathering. We talked about the fact that, there's a bunch of these rookies not performing. There's a bunch of veterans that.
Can I share one of your tactics with the Foot Clan? Because I think it's helpful for anybody.
I don't even know which one it is, but go ahead.
I hate it. It's disgusting, and I don't like you.
All right.
Here's
like the sound of that.
If you're in some kind of keeper league, or it would work in a dynasty a little bit, not quite as well, but if you're playing in a keeper league and your team just don't got it, you're like, I don't know if I can win a championship or not. Andy has done this probably 3 or 4 times over the last dozen years, and it annoys the garbage out of me. I get so mad.
Whoa, this is a family show.
He takes his really great pieces. He's got like right now this year he's doing it again. He had the Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow stack, and he sold them for a ton. And it looks like he's selling. He looks like I'm going to, in keeper leagues, you got buyers and sellers.
Assets.
Yeah, I'm in it for next year. But what he's really doing is he's just accumulating more value than the players he gave up. He's taking his great pieces and trying to get a haul of haul for thems. And then he turns around and he will sell all of his future assets for players in the now. And then at the very end of 2 series of trades, he has such a better team. And I can't stand it. So stop trying to trade, Andy. Just go play for the future and bow out, man.
I'm just not. It's 2 weeks in, Jay. It's 2 weeks in.
You suck.
I will
lay down.
Yes, lay down.
Lay down.
To die.
Go behind the barn. No, look, one thing that we are working on here are a couple of trade tools, and one of them will undoubtedly be a trade tool for the Ultimate Dashboard that allows you to identify trade targets and teams in your league to help you start to build offers and trades and find, quickly identify which teams are weak or strong in different areas, and we're going to build that out. Another aspect that we're going to build out as a trade analyzer tool to help break down winners and losers in a broad sense on trades as you begin to prepare them. People want trade tools. We're working on trade tools. People have asked for it forever. We're working on it. One thing that when we were talking philosophically about trades yesterday in the office, we were talking about the things that you look at when you're trying to make trades, and I shared something that it seemed to catch a couple people off guard. I love trading. I try to trade all the time. But I identify trade partners oftentimes by their record.
Yeah.
And so I try to put myself in the shoes of how content are you with your team in either side, right? Like if you're performing really, really well, then maybe you want to put yourself over the top in a weak area. But if you have started the year 0-2, right, or 1-1, or whatever, a few weeks into the season, you're 1-3, you're 1-4. I'm definitely looking at those teams because I think there's just a generalized discontentment, and they may want to make a trade, just to make a change, even if it's maybe it's the buy low situation where they have a guy, Ashton Genty, right? If you're 0-2 right now with Ashton Genty, that's a lot different feeling about Ashton Genty than if you've managed to go 2-0 and just survive with him on the roster. So I think that's one thing that I can share that's really important for fantasy players is, try to see how discontent the other person is with their team potentially.
I am very discontent.
With your team?
Yeah.
But you won last week.
I know. But I am very discontent. So let's work some trades together.
Oh, I know what that means. That means you're going to send me Kayshawn Booty in a trade.
Hey, it could be the number one. It could be a boat.
Yeah, he had one catch, so you're right.
For a touchdown.
Let's, we got a lot to talk about, so let's jump into news.
News and notes from around the league, presented by Progressive Insurance.
All right, we'll blitz this. We already said they hope Waddle can play tonight. We all hope that's the case because it's a better chance at a good game.
Miami needs him.
Reminder, if you do end up playing Waddle or anybody in tonight's game, make sure they are not in your flex.
Yep.
Move them into the running back wide receiver position so that you have flexibility.
There were a bunch of Wednesday did not practices that we'll run through. One that I'm more encouraged of in the last 30 minutes than I was an hour ago. Emeka Egbuka, he didn't practice yesterday, hip and groin injury. Now, he was a Monday night game. You got to remember that, right? That was a Monday night football game.
Yep.
Also was not seen at practice today so far, but then it was reported just 30 minutes ago that he's still expected to practice, just wasn't at the media open portion. So a limited designation is what I would expect from Egbuka today, which is much more encouraging to get him out there on the field.
And I don't see him on the groinindex.com. So
he's actually fine.
He's fine.
Juwan Jennings not practicing on Wednesday. Zach Charbonnet. He said, "Nay, I shall not practice." Evan Ingram with the back. Things have not been good for Ingram on that injury.
It was a calf.
It was a calf.
Hey, we know it. It always starts with the calf, and it finds its way somewhere else in your body.
Jaden Daniels with the knee. We're still waiting to see if Jaden Daniels is going to be there this week. I talked about if he plays, I do not expect him to run as much, and he may not play. They said the earliest he could practice was Friday.
Yeah.
You could see Marcus Mariota.
Of all these, you don't really care about Wednesday practice reports that much. It's just like you want to be aware of them in case you need to be prepared, but you don't make roster decisions today based on Wednesday practices because it's very common for veterans and even rookies now to rest. I believe Tyler Warren as well was kind of given the Wednesday off. Jaden Daniels is a legit concern. I will say this, if he starts, he will be more limited mobility-wise. He'll probably be playing with a brace on his knee, and I will still start him. If he was just a pocket passer, I think he's really good.
Yeah, isn't it let me see where I have him on my rankings for the week because I just went in there and was looking at this. I think you have him down there, maybe at 7 range or something like that. No, I have him at 12.
Ooh, well.
I have him at 12 right now.
Okay, so he's still a starter.
Yeah. Xavier Worthy returned to a limited practice on Wednesday. Brock Bowers limited. Christian Kirk limited. And Brock Purdy, quote, has the chance to play in week 3. Kyle Shanahan had said it doesn't really matter how Mac Jones is playing. It's just a matter of Brock Purdy's health. So we'll see if he somehow gets out there on the field against the Cardinals. It seems doubtful, though. That was News and Notes, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. We're jumping right in. It's week 3.
Starts of the week, presented by Paramount Plus.
I'll be honest, I was pretty disappointed in how it worked out last week in the starts of the week. We do watch intently on the weekend to make sure our advice comes through. That's the goal.
I didn't have any Jets.
No, and yours were better than ours. We had Jets, and that was our bad.
That's like it should be like a 5-year rule. Like no Jets.
No Jets ever?
Right.
It's not helpful. Mike, why don't you kick us off with your quarterback start of the week for week 3?
I'm going with Dak against the Chicago Bears. Like the game's sitting at a 50.5 over under.
That means we have multiple games over 50 this week.
Yeah, we've got a few, and this one with Chicago and the Dallas Cowboys, I am very interested in. Not only are these two potentially high-scoring games that are teams, offenses, they both play fast as of right now.
And bad defense.
And the defenses have not been good. The Bears' pass rush is 30th right now in pressure rate, and when Dak has that clean pocket, he can absolutely tear apart a secondary. And so this is a game that we really want pieces of, and Dak is a top 5 option this week for me.
Bears are giving up the most points to quarterbacks of any team in football. I'm going with another, just to kind of piggyback there, I'm going with another game that's up over 50 points. It's at 53.5.
Wow.
That would be the Monday Night Football game. I'm taking Jared Goff in back-to-back weeks. That's right.
Oh.
In Baltimore, Jared Goff, who was the quarterback 1 last week. This idea that he's only good at home, that hasn't been true statistically over the last 3 years. He's averaged 19.3 fantasy points per game. Whenever there's a 50-point over-under, when he's on the road, when he's away from Detroit, it's the over-under that we're paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions have averaged 28 points a game in any 50-point over-under the last 3 years. I want a piece of the Monday Night Football game. Too many weapons in Detroit. Too much of a potential shootout situation. You know Baltimore's going to put up points at home.
Oh, you know it.
So I'm actually going to follow up the Goff number 1 overall performance at home with a streamable QB1 performance here in week 3.
I imagine if they actually give Tesla more routes.
Or let him use 2 hands.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah,
Why?
what?
Why?
Yeah.
You think he makes SportsCenter with 2 hands?
That's like Princess Bride when he starts with his left hand because he knows otherwise it's not a fair fight.
Yeah, well, it seems that way.
All right, my start of the week, I'm going back to the well with my dude, Justin Herbert. He's been on fire. He's straight dealing 2 weeks into the season. They are number 1 in pass rate over expectation. And Justin Herbert, at the same time, while they're throwing a ton, he's number 2 in average depth of target. That is a combination you want. And then it's like, whoa, why don't you run the ball, young man? You are a very good athlete. His scramble rate, 9.6% of his dropbacks, that is the highest of his career. That is something we've seen with Giro. The Denver matchup is scary. It's a divisional matchup. But Daniel Jones, the Colts, they just showed you could challenge this defense.
Sure.
And last year against these Broncos at home, 284-2, another 28 on the ground. The Chargers won 34-27. Herbert is like locked for me right now into the lineup.
Sure. At running back, I'm going with Jalen Warren against the New England Patriots. We're 2 weeks into the season. We got an RB17 and an RB13 performance from Warren. Mike Tomlin.
You're not worried about Caleb?
Caleb Johnson. Like
You think he's active?
Wait, yeah, is he still on the team? He still has a role?
That'd be the most Tomlin Arthur Smith thing ever. Just cut him. Just like 2 weeks in.
Oh my gosh, that would be the worst thing for you ever.
We've seen what we need to see.
That'd be the best thing. Then he
Also,
can go
wait,
sign for a team that's going to play him.
Stay away from Carry-on Johnsons, Caleb
K.
Johnsons.
Johnsons, you're out. Anyways, go on, Mike. Because
Sorry, this isn't about you. This is about Jalen Warren.
I just want to echo everything you're saying. Jalen Warren is an awesome start this week.
Dog.
Look, Mike Tomlin, the money said he was going to be the guy. Mike Tomlin said he was going to be the featured runner. Last week, 35% of the Steelers' offensive plays, Jalen Warren touched the ball. Fun stat, we're only 2 weeks in, but however, running backs with 30 or more touches and 100 or more receiving yards, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Warren. The Steelers are 2-point road favorites against New England. We saw Achane, 10 targets, and we have this Gonzalez. His name is escaping me.
Christian Gonzalez?
Yes, Christian
Who's out,
Gonzalez,
probably.
who I'm seeing trending to playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
I thought he was going to miss a long period of time.
It's a situation to monitor because we thought he was going to miss a lot of time.
Oh, he did return to practice 22 hours ago.
So I think he's trending to play,
Apologies.
which that hurts the potential of DK Metcalf. And if you want to go narrative street, we had the quote yesterday of Aaron Rodgers like, yeah, no, this guy is earning my trust of I'm going to have to check the ball down to him. And we know when Rodgers likes the guy, he goes to him.
His quote was, he brings a lot to the table. We might have to keep giving him more opportunities in the pass game because every time he touches it, something good happens. And when Aaron Rodgers wants something, he just does it.
Yep.
He doesn't ask permission.
My running back starts of the week, Travis Etienne and Bayshal Tootin, the two-pack against
It's
Houston.
getting stronger.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, they Etienne right now, 7.1 yards per carry on the season. You can keep riding that. The Buccaneers, when they faced Houston on Monday Night Football, you saw the multi-back success. You saw both Rachaad White and Bucky Irving have success against that Houston defense.
The Rachaad White success makes me think that anyone can have success against
That's
that
what
team.
I'm saying. Look, they are right now. Jags are running the football well, second in yards before contact per rush. What you also saw was Liam Cohen have success with those. It was Bucky and Rachaad White with Liam Cohen last year, and he's kind of putting that system into place in Jacksonville. So I'm gonna go back to the well with Travis Etienne and then add Bayshal Tootin.
Speaking of back to the well, this was a terrible start of the week last week. Sorry, Mike, but Jordan Mason this week.
I literally couldn't do it because of last week.
No, I understand, and I almost did not make him a start of the week because of last week's failure. But I think there's
some stink on him still.
Yeah, there's some stink, but that makes it more important. Like if you have Jordan Mason,
I'm playing him everywhere.
Yes, you have to start him, and based on how bad it was last week, you're like, oh, I got to bench him. You can't. Right now, the matchup against Cincinnati, we saw it last week. It was great. Aaron Jones is on IR for the next 4 weeks. The quote was just said from head coach said, I'm not sure we could have much more confidence in Jordan as a bell cow kind of back. That's what you want to hear. That's the utilization you need. They signed Cam Akers, who was on the roster last year and did a lot of jack squat. The Vikings want to run the ball. This version of Carson Wentz is needing to be protected. Jordan Mason, you saw it last year, the first 7 weeks of the season when he was replacing an injured starter like he is now. He was averaging over 90 rushing yards per game, and then he was involved in the receiving game a little bit. 12 routes, got 3 targets, new career high.
Is that seriously his career high?
Yes, that's his career high. But the point is, with Aaron gone, he will be involved in the passing game. The Cincinnati Bengals, they're not great, right? They've allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running backs through 2 weeks. You have to start Jordan Mason.
At wide receiver, I'm going with Ricky P. from the San Francisco 49ers against Arizona.
See, this one is what I think some people need to hear encouragement around Ricky Pearsall.
I'm going with Pearsall
to feel confident.
And this is regardless of the news of if it ends up being Brock Purdy, which there was a tiny, there's some optimism out there that he ends up playing this week. If he plays, great. If it's Mac Jones, I don't care. I know that Juwan was the one who had the big game last week, but I'm going right back to Pearsall. The Cardinals are down currently 3 of their top cornerbacks, and if Will Johnson, who got hurt in the game last week, can't make it back, that would be 4 of their top 5. This secondary will be extremely depleted. The usage is still great, 25% of the team's first read targets, 2.41 yards per route run. I'm still in on Pearsall.
All right, we are at wide receiver, and I'm going to go, I guess this is the theme. I'm going back to the well with Rome Odunze here. 7 for 128 and 2 last week. Okay, well, maybe you're expecting some variables here, and maybe you have a bad week. No, I think against Dallas, that game you were just talking about, listen to this. The Dallas Cowboys just gave up 264 deep passing yards against Russell Wilson in week 2. That is the most such yards allowed by a defense in a game since 2016. That was what and Rome Odunze's that guy for Chicago. And so over 50-point over-under, Rome Odunze's that dude. Go back to Rome Odunze this week, start of the week.
My start of the week, Michael Pittman. This was a player I really liked in the draft process. I got him on a bunch of rosters. I played him everywhere week 1, and it was awesome. I benched him this last week. I told you guys, like, don't play him. That was a bad matchup. It wouldn't make sense with Patrick Surtain. He had a bad week. This is a great matchup. Play Michael Pittman again. He will be the number 1 wide receiver for the Colts this week. The Tennessee Titans have allowed the 4th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers through 2 weeks, and specifically the wide receiver types like Michael Pittman. Week 1, Cortland Sutton, that was awesome. I honestly think Michael Pittman and Cortland Sutton aren't that different as far as like archetype, player type.
Sure.
It's a great matchup for him. He will be the number 1, and I think he should be started. He's one of those flex type of decisions where a lot of questions will be coming in this week. If you've got one of that, like that level of like, I don't know, should I play Tillman
This is a way of
or
saying
Pittman?
Downs as well then.
A little bit, but I actually think less Downs. To me, if you're in a matchup where you expect a shootout, a lot of points, a difficult matchup, you're going to be down. That's where I think Downs will be better because you're going to have to throw the ball more. You're going to have to be in 3 wide receiver sets. The slot wide receiver will be in. I expect the Colts to handle business, and if they do, it's going to be Michael Pittman, 2 wide receiver sets. You're going to be trying to stop Jonathan Taylor. So this is, to me, a Michael Pittman
Downs
matchup.
did not practice on Wednesday.
Okay.
There you go. My tight end start of the week. He's not being talked about as a top 12 option, but we're right back here. It's Jake Turd Ferguson. He's in that Chicago Bears matchup that we want pieces of. The usage is elite, averaging 9 targets per game. Targeted on 26% of his routes. We already laid out all the matchup stuff, but he was in week 1. It didn't end up on the box score, but he had the 6 targets, which was 18%. Should have come down with a touchdown. He just kind of Brian Thomas Jr. didn't really go after the ball.
Also the Eagles, who are great.
The Eagles are also
ends.
they closed on him. But then in the shootout last week, 12 targets. Jake Ferguson is a reliable top 12 option with a sneaky high ceiling.
I've been
this
actually
week.
targeting him in trades.
I just want to officially say my start of the week is your guys' 2 starts of the week.
Right,
I looked so hard to find a start of the week, and I was like, I really love.
Oh, I see yours now, and I understand why you're
I
apologizing.
love Fergalicious, not Turd Ferguson this week. Fergalicious.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I love your start of the weekend.
Well, it's Juwan Johnson against Seattle. 20 targets through the first 2 weeks.
Buy in.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, just buy into the usage.
Juwan Johnson is basically a slot wide receiver playing tight end right now. He's running that many routes. He's on pace for 170 targets. Obviously, it's 2 weeks, right? You're going to have some ebbs and flows. But Juwan Johnson against Seattle this week. Seattle so far haven't stopped the tight end position. Still waiting for members of their secondary to get healthy. And so it's a good time to ride Juwan Johnson for another week.
Juwan Johnson was not picked up enough after week 1 that we were still able to have him in our waiver show. I'm looking at Sleeper right now, and I'm seeing a 78% roster. That means there still are leagues out there that Juwan Johnson's just chilling on the waiver wire. I'm telling you, even if you don't need a tight end, you should go pick him up at the end of your
100%.
bench because eventually someone else in your league is going to wake up and go get him, and you're going to be playing against a top 10 option.
One of my most rostered, like my 2 most rostered players were Michael Pittman, which is I feel great about, and David Njoku. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna crush me in these leagues. If Juwan Johnson was out there, I'd be a happy boy. He's nowhere,
Sure.
Because you're in all my leagues,
Yeah.
and you spin up for him. He's a great.
He's been on
pick.
my team for years.
My tight end start of the week, Zach Ertz against the Raiders. I believe that this is a good start. He's the tight end too, right? Through 2 weeks.
You're talking with such sadness.
It is sadness.
Zach
because,
Ertz is a great play. He's a great play.
like I wanted to make Kraft but who's not starting Kraft? Your guys' starts of the week are great, but I am personally I picked up Zach Ertz. I'm playing him over Njoku.
Okay, that's news.
Yeah, so he's playing 90% of the snaps. He ran 41 routes. The last 7 games, including the playoff run, he's averaged 13.1 fantasy points. He's reliable, and I know that there's quarterback question. If Jaden Daniels starts, he's going to be limited mobility-wise. The tight end position is probably where he's going to look to even more. And then if he doesn't start the last 2 games with Marcus Mariota, Zach Ertz was 4 for 40 and a touchdown, 5 for 44 and a touchdown. It's not the end of the world. So Zach Ertz, he's in that startable category.
All right, that was Starts of the Week presented by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is the streaming home to the NFL on CBS. Get started at ParamountPlus.com/NFL. We'll take a break. We'll hit the matchups. Into the forecast we go.
Fantasy Forecast, presented by Prize Picks.
All right, we're going to kick off Week 3 with the Green Bay Packers at 2-0, traveling to take on the Cleveland Browns, who are sitting at 0-2. The Vegas line, Green Bay on the road, -8.5, over-unders 41.5. Packers, that defense, it's been rolling. Jordan Love, you've enjoyed watching him, stretch the field a little bit. He has so many weapons. It's a little bit wild because you've had injuries. Obviously, Jaden Reed's not there anymore. But you have, you got 2 tight ends, Tucker Kraft and then Luke Musgrave getting involved. You've got the running game. You have, Christian Watson's going to come back soon, but you have Wicks and you have Heath and you have, so many different weapons. Golden hasn't even gotten involved yet. The Packers are playing great, right? Like Golden hasn't been heavily involved yet. It's just a lot of depth, not necessarily making it easy for fantasy players to go, okay, I like Golden or I like Dobbs or I like Wicks or I like, I think we all love Tucker Kraft. He might be the focal point of the offense.
Kraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, he very well could be. I mean, we talked about it last week. The passing game for the Packers is who's getting the touchdown. Like that's
right.
Love is spreading the ball around. It's like 2 targets, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 2 receptions. Those lead the team at the end of the game with how good the defense is playing and how efficient Jordan Love is. He's looking great. It's who do you think is going to get the touchdown? And if you had to give odds of every pass catcher to get a touchdown, the highest odd would be the tight end. It would be Kraft.
Yes.
So how do we feel about starting Jordan Love on the road here in a game that they're heavily favored? It feels like you will need to get it early potentially in this game. Like I'm really
okay with it because
I'm very okay with it
because the Cleveland Browns front 7 has been. I mean, Derrick Henry couldn't run on them.
Yeah, I am nervous about Josh Jacobs, who was it's Wednesday, but the combination of Josh Jacobs popping up with an ankle, limited in practice on Wednesday, against the Cleveland Browns, who have through 2 weeks shut down running backs, including one of the best in the business. Where are there names that you would actually consider playing over Josh Jacobs?
Probably not. I mean, to be honest, I think Josh Jacobs has been so good.
I'll give you a couple names.
Okay.
Because these guys were drafted after Jacobs. Travis Etienne against Houston.
No.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm not playing Jacobs over that.
Okay.
You're playing Etienne?
Yeah.
Okay. Javonte Williams against Chicago.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. So
okay.
I'm more
maybe there. Maybe,
I'm more on Andy's side of this isn't it's not the world is burning. It's just you might have some better options this week who were drafted after Josh Jacobs. But again,
if they have the game put away, you could definitely see Jacobs getting some rest.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
this isn't the type where they just run Josh Jacobs. They get up big and then they run Jacobs into the ground. You put some backups in.
Yeah,
let them take
I have
punishment.
Javonte as my running back 12. I think he's a really good play this week. So if you do have good options, maybe, but for the most part, I feel like you got to play Jacobs.
Okay.
Matthew Golden is an interesting start to me in the sense that he's done very little. He's had separation. He's had targets and air yards. They just haven't connected. This matchup, I think, is okay. He's like the Thornton of this week. If you need,
okay. Is that a Jason
no?
touchdown guarantee?
I don't see the future like you do. I do think that there is a chance he gets a touchdown and has a big play that makes for a good game. So if you're in a underdog situation, I would throw Matthew Golden in. But that's pretty much all I could say on that.
The tough part on the other side of the ball, I mean, these are 2 of the best defenses. Actually, they're number 1 and 2 in yards per play allowed in terms of, it's a 41-point over-under. The defenses are outstanding. Cleveland is going to struggle offensively, and yet you have this kind of promising, exciting performance by Quinshon Judkins last week on limited snaps. He's going to get more and more involved. it is the buy now time. Now, you might be able to do that again after this week if you think he's going to have no success against Green Bay, but I think Judkins is looking more interesting in the long term than a lot of players out there. I mean, I think you have to start asking the question, is Judkins going to be a better performer than Amari and Hampton this year?
Yeah, than Travion Henderson?
Yeah, they're
coming into this.
I think that's where he was before all of the drama.
Yeah. When we finished our original, launch June 1st UDK rankings and we statted everybody out, I was surprised, but not shocked that Quinshon Judkins was my number one. Genty was number one.
Yeah.
My number 2 rookie running back ahead of Henderson, ahead of Hampton, and then all the off-the-field stuff made it questionable. The off-the-field stuff might be gone. He could still be, suspended, but he's going to – he only played 27% of the snaps last week and was pretty awesome.
16.5 point implied point total for the Browns through 2 weeks. Jerry Jeudy's been the wide receiver 31 and 59. Is he a full bench for you?
I would really try to avoid every single player on the Cleveland.
What about the tight ends?
Harold Fannin is the only one that, if I'm desperate, I would put him out there.
So we're kind of moving. You're moving on from Njoku as a start this week?
It's not. Yeah, this week. It's not a moving on completely from David Njoku. It's just a Harold Fannin will get some cheapies, and I think he can cheap his way to 4 or 5 receptions.
Where are you starting Judkins? Are you starting him over
over Tootin in that? I mean, even though Tootin was the start of the week with Etienne in that matchup, I would go over Tootin.
It's worth noting the Browns. The Browns came out with a depth chart officially that has now Judkins as the one. He was not the one. Jerome
it's
Ford
pretty
is
obvious how much better he is than everything else they have.
He is going to get a workload this week. So I think I'm pretty happy to start him.
Would you play him or Bill against the Las Vegas Raiders?
I'd play Bill.
Yeah, Bill's.
Yeah, I mean, Judkins, I can tell you the stat line if you want to know the future.
Oh, I love that you know this stuff.
17 for 61, no touchdowns.
So you're not very happy.
No, you're not very happy. You get volume.
But I think he also gets involved in the passing game a little bit.
2 for 21.
Okay, that's
still pretty good.
That's a big difference.
21 on 2 catches.
That's 10. What you just said is 10 fantasy points.
Yeah, that's right. He's a 10 fantasy point guy this week.
Awesome.
Yeah. Indianapolis is 2-0. They take on the 0-2 Tennessee Titans. Titans are at home. Indy 4.5 point road favorites. Over unders 43.5. Saw a lot of Daniel Jones get picked up in fantasy leagues this week, especially with all the injuries at quarterback. Right? You've had, McCarthy's out, Purdy's out.
This is where
Burrow's out.
This is
when he.
This is it.
This is when he tricks you, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that this is a huge week. The first road game for Daniel Jones, dominant for fantasy football.
So it's a trap.
Is it a trap or not?
Jason brought up his view of the game. They are favored. Jonathan Taylor he's looked amazing so far. The Titans defense at 0-2 is only giving up 13.6 fantasy points to the opposing quarterback so far this year. It was the matchup that Bo Nix struggled in, and you could say, okay, it was more Bo Nix than it was them. Debatable, because they didn't need – I mean, they could win the game without Bo Nix in that game. That's the crazy part about it. And then last week, what was it? It was the Rams, right?
Mm-hmm. Stafford was okay, threw 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think Daniel Jones will be all right, but probably not QB4, probably not QB5 this week. You start to look at Bo Nix against the Chargers, I'd go there. Love against Cleveland, we just talked about that game. Would you go Love?
I would go Love.
Still go Love, yeah.
So, obviously things can change. You can get a tush-push from Daniel Jones or 2 of them. And that
more
really
of a sneak. His tush remains unpushed.
Yeah, I guess
That's
is more
That's
of a
true.
sneak.
Yeah.
He's pushing his own tush with his hindquarters.
Mm-hmm.
With his hindquarters.
With his haunches.
Right.
With his hindquarters.
With his haunches.
So how do you see, you talked about Pittman. I'm not as bullish around Pittman as you are, but I understand the argument for it, and I can see it. You've also had some other players like Devontae Smith that have struggled, and you look at Devontae Smith versus Pittman, and that one seems like it should be easy, but maybe it's not. Tyler Warren didn't practice on Wednesday, but I think he played more snaps than a tight end has played in a long, long time. So he had
to visit the vet for a little bit.
I mean, it was outstanding.
I get it.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
got that
Because he's a
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh, and the dog needs a vet.
Yeah.
And so it's an animal joke.
The only problem
Yes.
with that is if
Very much.
like if it was Meowson Taylor,
Oh,
also needs a vet.
yeah.
They're both animals. You need to find a dog specific reference, like just being a vet. That can apply.
It
to
was
either.
the best I could do on
All
short
right.
notice.
Okay.
Short notice.
I
haven't thought
Moral of the story: Tyler Warren's awesome. You're gonna play him every week.
As is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
Oh man, Johnny Taylor,
he has looked.
he's looking so good.
So good. The
Very,
only thing
very
that has
bursty.
gotten in his way is just not playing in the fourth quarter of week 1 because he was too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. On the other side of the ball, how long do you talk about this team on the other side of
Tony
the ball?
Pollard is a
Pollard's
fine play.
he's so weird.
He was really good last week.
Yeah, that's the thing is he is giving you the classic, I'm doing pretty well for the NFL, but I'm not helping your fantasy team.
Yeah, Cam Ward has not been checking it down.
He was 20 for 92 against the Rams.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And his-
4.6 a carry, but no involvement in
Yes.
2 targets on the season right now.
Yeah, catch.
But I still think that the
He's-
Rams are a much
He's
harder
playable.
defense than the Colts. So I'm playing Tony Pollard as like a running back too. Certainly
I'd
in
say
my
more
flex.
like a flex.
Yeah.
Judkins or Pollard?
Ooh, I would go Pollard.
Ooh.
I just moved Judkins and I moved him to just below Pollard. I'll go Pollard.
All right, the Bengals at 2-0. The Vikings at 1-1, both with backup quarterbacks. Vegas line Minnesota at home -3. The over-under's 42.5. Cincinnati could have easily lost their first 2 games. They managed to win them, and now it's Jake Browning season versus Carson Wentz season.
This game looked so awesome a week ago.
Yeah, it did.
Like, oh man, Bengals, Vikings. I'm looking forward to that.
Jake Browning said, quote, "If I didn't have some delusional confidence in myself, then I probably would have been toast a long time ago." You do like to see that. I believe he played. Wasn't he on the sideline screaming like,
You shouldn't
you
have cut
shouldn't
me.
have cut
shouldn't
me.
have cut me? I
There's
mean,
some
look.
other words in there.
Yeah, there were.
And he was good. Like Jake Browning for fantasy. And I obviously if you're in a 2 quarterback, he's going to go in a 2 quarterback league that I'm in. He went for 100 fab. That's a bit much for me.
As in 100%?
100% of $100, as in also $100. But back
I didn't know if it was like a 200 or a
Sure.
1,000.
Yeah, no. But back when we saw him in 2023, I said this before, he was in his 7 starts, he was the quarterback 18, 4, quarterback 4 again, quarterback 8, 21, quarterback 8, quarterback 9. The majority of his games were top 10. They're going to let him throw the ball. They have the weapons to throw to. Everything is nerfed from the Joe Burrow Bengals, but everything's still startable. I'm still starting T. Higgins. I'm still starting Jamar Chase. I'm still starting Chase Brown.
I'm a little worried about Higgins in the long run
Yeah.
without Burrow, and because even with Burrow to start the year, it's been a slow start for Higgins. Would you trade Jamar Chase for Malik Neighbors?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For sure.
What other names would enter that list other than Malik Neighbors at wide? CeeDee Lamb,
Yes.
Lamb, I would.
Okay,
I don't know if I would do
Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I would trade him for Amon-Ra. I would trade him for Puka.
Puka.
yeah, okay,
That might be the end of the list.
not Jefferson.
Not Jefferson.
No,
There's one name that is funny to me looking at like the
top performers.
top
Is it
performers.
Zay Flowers?
No.
No.
I,
okay.
I don't think Zay Flowers
I mean, you
will
would
have
never
enough
trade him for
touchdowns.
that. No. Yeah.
But JSN.
JSN.
Oh yeah.
JSN looks like he could be like breakout star.
Good.
Real quick, because we're talking about the Bengals, and we just want to see what T. Higgins did when he had Browning back in 2023. T, unsurprisingly, missed 2 of those games. However, in the
He misses games equally with either quarterback.
exactly, He's not
anymore.
He's not anti Joe Burrow.
Not with that money.
right. He
He
gets
ain't
$2
missing
million
nothing.
to show up. But in those games, I want to read you his stat lines. One game was 3 for 36, so that's kind of like the floor. That's terrible. The next game was 2 for 72. The next game was 4 for 61 and 2 touchdowns was the wide receiver 7. 5 for 140 and a touchdown.
Which year?
I don't like this matchup. I
and
don't
then
like
1 for 19.
I don't like going on the road.
I
I
think
don't like
there's-
playing Minnesota at home.
There's some overlap there, like a Chase missing.
He's a bench.
I'm not
He's a bench
mistaken.
for me this week.
T. Higgins?
T. Higgins is a bench for me this week because of the matchup. Minnesota is they're such a good defense. Their secondary has shut people down. They're giving up like 16 fantasy points a game to wideouts.
They're awesome.
Jamar Chase is the one to bet on.
I would agree with that.
Do you play T or George? No, I'd probably play George. That one.
I mean,
T or Jacoby
Jacoby
against
Oh
Washington.
yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
T
like
or
3 targets
Pittman,
versus 16.
Pittman. I think there are good games.
Those numbers are helpful for the future of the season.
Yes,
but this game in this week now.
there will be good games for T. Higgins. This will not be one of them.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, obviously he could end up with a touchdown. Anybody can. But Jordan Mason, start of the week on the other side. Jefferson, slower start to the year, probably neutral or better with Carson Wentz at quarterback. Playing at home, Jefferson should get fed. T.J. Hawkinson, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. I'm looking for options on the waiver wire.
I am looking for options on the waiver wire. I'm certainly not cutting T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, you don't have to cut him, but I might try to start. I mean, would you rather
I'd
have
play
Hawkinson
Ertz.
or Ertz?
I'd play Ertz.
Pitts. I'd rather play Pitts.
I'd play Pitts.
I would rather play both of those guys.
Jonnu Smith.
No.
I'd probably go there,
I
but
think
maybe
I'm
not.
still on the Hawkinson
Maybe not.
side there.
Okay,
I'm not.
we're getting Hawkstrap stuff, man.
So I'm like you're red alert. I'm yellow.
Okay.
I think that this is like I'm paying attention. I want one more week. I want to see what
Maybe
happens
this
with Carson
week
Wentz.
maybe this week
instead
will be
of
better.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. And Carson Wentz gets to start $134 million in lifetime earnings, so he's doing all right.
in a
Probably
Super
doesn't
Bowl.
want to play. Probably doesn't want to play anymore. Let's take a break. We'll jump into some more matchups. Foot Clan, the season. Look, it's underway, Al. The season is underway. You got those rankings, those sleepers. You got the can't miss picks. We've got it all laid out on the line. I don't know if you're ready for that, but the best fantasy team out there, we still need a backup because sometimes the starters, they don't show up. We know this. Wouldn't it be great if you could have the same peace of mind everywhere else? With Progressive, you get more than just a policy. You get a playbook full of coverage options that you can count on for your home and for your auto. Want to customize that protection? Not a problem. You can build your coverage just like you build your fantasy team, making sure that you have the right players in every position and back up when you need it the most. And when life throws an audible like a fumble in the driveway or a hailstorm at home, well, Progressive is there with 24/7 support. Don't get caught without a great backup. Visit Progressive.com to quote today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Who do you go to in order to solve your life's problems? The group chat, oversharing with strangers? Maybe you don't have that perfect someone great with advice. That's where BetterHelp comes in. They've been around for over a decade, helped millions, and out of 1.7 million client reviews, they've got a 4.9 rating. BetterHelp has qualified and experienced counselors that meet localized standards for counselor vetting and care delivery. They do the initial matching work for you so that you can focus on your goals. A short questionnaire helps you identify your needs and your preferences, and you can switch to a different counselor at any time. Completely online, you can pause your subscription whenever you need to. BetterHelp is HITRUST certified and complies with GDPR standards, which means they meet some of the highest global standards for data protection. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of experience. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/footballers. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/footballers.
Pittsburgh 1-1, New England 1-1. The game's in New England. Pittsburgh is favored by 1.5. Does that surprise you at all? The way their defenses looked and the fact that they just barely beat the Jets.
I think the Patriots
Then they
have been
lose.
really disappointing.
Yeah,
through 2 weeks.
I mean,
they barely beat the Dolphins.
Can I take this one?
Sure.
Does this one count?
Yeah, it counts.
Yeah.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
I got good news for you, Andy. I took the Steelers in the spread, and usually when you have an almost upset and I am completely on the other side, you're right and I am wrong.
Well, New England, underdogs at home. Over-under is 44.5. Both teams 1-1. At least in their career, Jason. Mike Tomlin, 3-0 against Mike Vrabel. But they were all one-score wins, so they were very close. Both teams have not been hyper-targeting the wide receiver position the way we hoped. We looked at DK Metcalf. Mike was the big fan of Metcalf all offseason.
Of course.
And he was talking the targets, but the targets haven't been there. The Steelers.
Is he a my guy for you?
I think he was.
I think he was.
And
I don't remember, but I think
he was the first my guy fantasy MVP combo
right
that anybody's ever done.
Yeah.
Mike equal DK.
Love that guy.
DK Mike Calf.
That's what we used to. I remember that joke.
That's right.
And then he drafted him because he loved him. Yeah, it's all coming together. Nobody look into that. The Patriots targeted wide receivers 39% in week 2. The Steelers targeted wide receivers 39% in week 2. You saw Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith get involved. And the offense didn't look as good for the Steelers in week 2 with Aaron Rodgers through the end zone interception. That was a big play in the game. Obviously, Caleb Johnson contributed to the loss. But, I mean, that game, it's funny because they got beat.
He literally didn't do anything. Let's take it easy.
They got beat, but it was those two plays.
Yeah.
It was a free touchdown, and it was an interception in the end zone that I felt like defined the entire week. Aaron Rodgers, big drop off from week 1 where he was 4 touchdowns and 73% interceptions, threw two interceptions.
Not a drop off from play. Like fantasy wise, he was great week 1. He was not good in week 1. We talked about it like off air, and there's a lot of metrics of like just showing his catchable target rate. He was not that. He ended up with 4 touchdowns, right? 4 week 1, something like that.
Yes, 4.
And so he had a great fantasy performance despite not really playing that great. And he just looked the same week 2 to me.
Well, Metcalf on the road here. How do we feel about Metcalf? Where does he slot in for you in your rankings?
Gonzalez matters a lot to me, honestly. Like if Christian remains out, then DK, I'm okay playing him.
I'm happy to play him if he's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would be on the side of I'm okay with it. If he returns, then I think that it's a very sketchy play of like, I mean, I'd probably play George over him. Tyreek will have already played, so you won't have that option. It's like Cortland Sutton. I think I'm playing above DK should that the injury news pop in New England's favor.
Okay. It doesn't feel like Pittsburgh has a lot outside of the start of the week of Warren to offer the Warren and Metcalf, and then Calvin Austin, he plays a bunch of snaps. Johnny Smith and Freiermuth split time, but that's kind of where we end that story.
Yeah, the Patriots made Tyreek Hill look good again. So it's only 1 week, but if that feels noteworthy for Tyreek Hill, who has looked terrible for all of last year and week 1, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe Tyreek Hill is not washed. Maybe that's just the Patriots secondary.
I've seen a wild amount of one question this week involving Patriots quarterback Drake May. The world has asked Drake May, Bo Nix, rest of season. That has been the question that people have asked repeatedly. I've seen it all over the place. I see it in our show docs. So somebody else on our staff is asking the question. Well, I know what I would say to that question.
I know what I would say, but more importantly, for all the Foot Clan out there, if you are part of the Foot Clan at jointhefoot.com, our rest of season rankings will be going live very, very soon.
Which we've never had.
We've never had them. So this is a new thing we are introducing.
What do they say about this scenario?
They'll say that Bo Nix is the right call. I mean, you look at...
But they're going to be right next to each other.
They'll be close, but if you have to choose one of those two, you go with the guy who has done it a lot of times. Like his rookie year, Bo Nix was great. Last week, Bo Nix was great. Who has better weapons? Probably Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. Who has a more offensive play-calling mind at coach? Bo Nix. So that to me, it's a clear Bo Nix. And I like Drake May.
All right. Well, let's talk about a player that was reborn last week. Ramondre Stevenson is going to face a Steelers defense that is giving up nearly the most points to running backs through 2 weeks. Are we all in on Ramondre for week 3?
All in is not the way I would phrase it.
I was trying to get you to phrase it that way.
I certainly cannot.
really wanted that phrase.
Phrase it.
If I have him, he's a top 24-ish type of a start, but the small data point of hesitancy for me is the Steelers were crushed by speed,
exactly.
Speedy
guys. It was Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Braylon Allen was stuffed like crazy.
Yep.
It was Kenneth Walker.
Yep.
Charbonnet was stuffed like crazy. Ramondre is not like the speedster.
That's the concern. And I am not going to tell people to play Travion Henderson after what happened last week, because it feels like it's very difficult, but it would not, while he's on your bench, it will not surprise me if things shift back to the way that they were moving.
If you're playing DFS, and you want to take a shot that is unpopular, Henderson is a good play for that type of a situation, because he got benched with his holding and message sent. So either they now forgive him, move on, and go back to the original game plan, or they continue punishing him. We couldn't possibly know the answer to that.
I think the biggest implication for last week for Henderson is I think they'll forgive. He's a hardworking kid.
Yeah,
they're going to forgive that stuff. I'm not worried about that. It's actually the success of Ramondre Stevenson. The fact that he was that successful. I think this team looks at him. That redeems a lot to have a week like that where he's that productive.
It sure does.
Makes the catch. If you wanted to paint a very clean path to Henderson having huge workloads and the involvement, it involves Ramondre really struggling regularly for Henderson to take over. There's no, you're hoping for committee at this point. I think before you were hoping for takeover. If Travion Henderson goes out, let me give you the situation. Let's say they give him some more snaps this week. Let's say he has 10 opportunities, 5 catches, 5 runs. He busts a long one. He's got a 38-yard touchdown run in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Ramondre's he's not going to stop being used. They're not going to stop using him because of that.
Yeah.
And I think if Ramondre had been struggling or struggled for multiple weeks, then you can't put the genie back in the bottle and it's a Henderson takeover. I think it's going to be a committee all year long, and you're going to look to Henderson to catch more passes, and you're going to try to be excited about that, but it's going to be a little bit of matchup based. It's going to be a little bit of, can they get it done in the offensive side of the football? Is Drake May playing good football? Are the wide receivers more relevant? I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a path like that. I don't see a takeover.
It's very mirrored to the Seattle Seahawks, where Charbs and Ramondre are similar types of players. And that's why in timeshares, I mean, this week, notwithstanding because of what happened with Ramondre, if it's a timeshare, you want to bet. I'm betting on the efficiency guy.
The more or less for Travion Henderson this week for receiving yards. Do you want to take a guess for what Price Picks has it at?
I would guess 20, 22.
He's such a good guesser. No, it's 18.5.
Oh, okay.
18.5. So that's
I
where Mike
more.
says, "Hey, just
I would lean more as well.
Sit him down and let's wait and see what happens." And the wide receivers right now are very unpredictable on the New England side, because I think Stephon Diggs' snaps and opportunities are going to rise. Booty got into the end zone, but 1 catch. That's tough. Demario Douglas, 1 catch in week 1 into the end zone. It's just kind of, was it Matt Collins that scored last week?
Mac did score.
Yeah,
and I think, let me double check it. I think Mac played a lot more too.
Yeah, Matt Collins had.
He went from 56 to 65% of the snaps.
Yeah,
he's not getting targets, but just saying a body on the field.
Honestly, that Jason won't like to hear this, but I would, if I had to play one player this week, it would be Diggs. If I had to pick one wide receiver, I think I would take Diggs.
I don't think that Diggs is going to get the type of targets that matter for fantasy. Like that's my only issue.
He's going to get the 4 for 32 targets.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that might be true. I guess I'm a little scared of getting shut out on the other guys. But I guess you could go Booty.
Booty to me is still a
Speaking
good
of Booty, sorry, Jason, I noticed that you have a different trophy over by you on the desk.
It's back to me from
Mike. What trophy is that, Jason, for the audio listeners?
It's a little potty, a little toilet
You
trophy.
may notice that the show came out a little bit later than usual.
Yeah, about
10 minutes.
10 minutes late.
Some tummy issues.
It's just Kayshawn reminded me.
Toilet booty trophy.
And Jason sat down and he saw the trophy in front of his spot.
Mm-hmm.
We were all sitting here waiting to start. And what did you say? You said,
I can't repeat what I said.
"Oh, that's true. That's true." You just realized that it was It was a legitimate
Yeah, it was
awarding of the trophy.
Fully legitimate. I delayed the show due to Dookie. So, sorry, Fuckland.
That's
That's a long drop.
Perfection for our show.
Sorry, I might have cut you off when you said booty.
Booty, to me, if I was going to start a wide receiver for the Patriots, it would definitely still be Booty because wide receivers go back and forth. Unless you're a super duper star, you have dud games. Thankfully, Booty got a touchdown last week, but let's go back to rookie year with Drake May. The second half of last year, Booty was his number one target. You come out week 1, he's the number one target. He gets a touchdown in week 2, disappointing that he wasn't targeted as much, but he is a up-and-coming, much better athlete than current Stephon Diggs.
All right, you've sold me. I'm back to Booty.
All right.
Which, by the way, I've seen a couple of people say, hey, you're not saying his name right. It's Booty. No, it isn't.
It's Booty.
It's Booty. You can go listen to him tell people to – he's like, I don't know where Booty came from, but it's Booty.
It's probably from the way he spells his name.
Both are great.
Yeah. I mean, if I were reading it, I would say Booty.
Yeah, dude, when someone says the way you spell your name, that feels like they're the one that decided it, but they didn't really decide that.
No, you
know
can't
what I mean?
say I'm Jason Moore because I've got 2 O's in the name.
I mean, you can.
I guess you can change it. I'm just saying you didn't decide how to spell your name. You woke up.
I woke
You
up.
woke up, and that's how it was.
That's right.
Los Angeles.
They call that the big wake up.
The big wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the Rams 2-0. The Eagles 2-0. Okay, here we go. Games in Philadelphia. Jason just waved his hand. Vegas line, Philly -3.5. Over-under 44.5. He's like
Philly.
2
good quarterbacks, 4 great wide receivers, 2 good running backs, amazing offenses. Like I've got.
Are you starting all of the players?
I've got the under on this game.
Oh, okay.
So much, and I'm just curious how you guys see this.
I see it the same
because
way.
I feel like I have too many contracts on that not having offense here. So I just want to know what you guys feel about this game. Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I don't.
I think I see it that way. The biggest question mark in this game is what's weird about it is Philly's favored, right? They have the higher implied point total, 24-20. Philly's 2-0. They're at home. And yet I want the Rams wide receivers and not the Philly wide receivers. Why is that?
Because the
Puka
Eagles
dominates?
aren't throwing the ball. The Eagles, when they throw the ball, are not throwing it down the field.
Did Puka get to 100 last week?
No.
Oh, man, 91.
Can you count the rushing yards? Cause
I know. I remember, what was it, 11 times I need him to hit 100 yards?
Uh-huh.
He's only 1 for 2 so far. Man.
I feel like you can count.
You cannot count it.
Really?
No.
With the
He had
45 yards.
134 yards.
If you,
I will count it in the end. I'll be like, yeah, but I kind of got it.
Yeah, if he's
I'll
one,
do that
If
later.
he's one short, I'll allow it. But you gotta, you would. That's on Andy. Andy should have said total yards from scrimmage.
Now, I'll be honest. I don't
Like
remember
an
that he said
idiot.
receiving yards. He might have just said yards.
Okay, well, check the tape.
Kyle?
We actually burn the tape after every show. So
Thank goodness.
We scrub it all, and then we just blur it out on YouTube, and it's indistinguishable language, so you don't know what we said.
Puka, there's no world where you don't start him
and 13
under
targets for
any
Adams.
match.
You have to start Adams.
The discussion is really the guys on the Eagles side. Jason, you have A.J. Brown. You're probably forced into playing him, but
And I have shotgunned 800,000 trades. The problem is
if you had Debo right now or A.J. Brown, would you play Debo or would you play A.J. Brown?
against the Cardinals, I feel like I'd probably go Debo.
Tough questions.
I feel like Jacoby's just such a good baseline of because Jacoby is safe. He will give you yards. He has a little bit of ceiling. Would you play Jacoby or would you just stick with the self-hatred and play A.J. Brown?
I think
that's A.J. Brown.
So, yeah, I mean,
A.J. Brown will live with the consequences.
Part of it is
he's so good.
Is matchup. Like if I'm favored and I just need a floor, then I do think Jacoby Myers might be safer. You gotta play A.J. Brown there.
Yes.
You gotta play A.J.
I think
Brown.
you do now. Kyle dug up the prediction.
Oh, okay.
Matt Stafford stays healthy for 17. Puka becomes the first player in NFL history with 12 or more 100-yard games.
Okay,
In a
he had a
single
100-yard
season.
game. So
Okay.
you're 2 for 2.
All right, we're good there. I think you're 2 weeks in. You got to play your wide receivers for Philly, and you just got to hope it gets a little bit better and the game's more competitive. And Matthew Stafford could put up some points, and if they're good, Jason's going to be wrong on his under. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be definitely wrong on if A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have good games, you'll be wrong there. But
Kyron is another question this week. Kyron is going to be splitting 65-35 with Blake Corum, which I am fine with that in a normal week. But against the Eagles, this is a matchup where, like Jaylen Warren, I feel like I would play Jaylen Warren, your start of the week, Mike, over Kyron. Javonte Williams, I would play over him. Jordan Mason, I would play over him. Kyron is, always a touchdown threat. It's not like the Rams are going to
have it that way too.
It's not like the Rams aren't going to score a touchdown, and he's got the highest odds of a Ram to score a touchdown. But you have to have it. If he doesn't get a touchdown, you are going to have a very disappointing week this week.
okay. Anything else from this game you guys want to discuss? You paying attention to anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Boy, we have a lot of matchups this week. Let's talk about the Jets. 0-2 taking on the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay -7. The over-under is 43.5. And that's not a lot. The Jets will have Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. How do you feel about their offense?
Not great.
So Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, former starts of the week.
Garrett Wilson he's not a must bench. He will get the majority of the targets, and the Bucs right now they look better against fantasy wide receivers, but he's still an okay-ish play.
Yeah, I would play Garrett Wilson. I can't imagine that I've got good enough wide receivers
exactly.
to not even have him in my flex. Garrett Wilson should have enough targets. Tyrod Taylor can get it done. The question is Breece Hall, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a multi-year, very impressive run defense. This is not like, so far through 2 games. It's like, they have continued being what they have been for a long time with Vita Vea, and Breece Hall can break something out, but also he could be stuffed a lot and have a disappointing offense. He was the running back 43 last week. So where do you slot in Breece?
As an RB2-3. Yeah, RB2. Bucky Irving's averaging 20 opportunities a game right now. Baker Mayfield's a dog. Quarterback 12-16, though, the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then
touchdowns haven't been there.
Would you play Breece Hall or Kyron Williams?
I'd play Kyron.
Me too.
Yeah.
We did get another update on Ibuka is expected to practice, despite not being there for the media part.
Yes. So that's good news. Mike Evans, outside the top 40 for 2 straight weeks.
Still on track for 1,000, right?
Well, it's not.
No, on track for 909.
Yeah,
that means more yards are coming.
Didn't we make a bet on that? I'm almost positive we made a bet on Mike Evans, and
I think we did.
And whether this is the drop-off year.
Yeah, and I'll win that.
Well, they're going to get more players back, not less. So we'll see. That was a really strong pronouncement after 2 bad weeks.
They will force feed him yards.
Scared. Let's double our bet.
First he goes, he's still on pace. Then he goes, no, he's not at all. Then he goes, let's double our bet.
Oh, man.
That is called human nature in its finest, as us men.
The reason that I think that I'm so confident Mike Evans will get it is not because of how he's playing or what he's done so far. It's really because of what they did last year at the end.
You do know it will stop, right?
Yes, I know it will stop.
That will be true in your mind all the time forever until it stops.
Until he's injured, yeah.
No, it stopped for Larry Fitzgerald and Hines Ward and all of it. Julio Jones and Andre Johnson.
They'll manufacture it like they did at the end of last year. They care so much, like the human beings, Bowles and Baker.
They can't manufacture it after a certain point.
Well, they're still trying because he was 27% of targets week 1, 31% this past week. He's not getting touchdowns.
Godwin's not going to play this week, but he's in consideration for next week. Ibuka should be back out there, and if those guys miss, Cade Otton would be relevant at the tight end position. The Raiders are 1-1, taking on the 1-1 Washington Commanders. The Vegas line right here, Washington -3 at home, over-under is 44.5. These are 3 straight low over-under games. So it's going to be, Dan Quinn, the backwards cap, against the youngest old man in the league, Pete Carroll, 74 years old. Doesn't look it at all.
No.
but 74, setting a record there. We talked about Jaden Daniels at the top in the news section about the knee. It is at home. It is against the Raiders, and you can play Jaden Daniels regardless of the knee injury if he's active. Let's talk about, are there changes that you'd make if he's not active in terms of Debo, McLaurin, Ertz?
McLaurin's out to me if Mariota's playing because the manufactured touches, the easy stuff, the close to the line of scrimmage, I think Debo is okay, but Terry McLaurin has not been good so far. You take a downgrade at quarterback with Debo's involvement, and I don't think I want to play with Terry.
Terry McLaurin was the wide receiver 5 last year, but did start the year very slow. His first 2 weeks last year, despite a 5 finish, his first 2 weeks was wide receiver 78 and 53. This year it's 75 and 54.
Oh,
wow.
Almost identical.
These trends continue.
You know, Mike said the missing the offseason was undefeated. This was what he did to start the year last year. He is at home. I'm probably not going to go too far away from McLaurin in terms of, a desperation play.
Yeah,
I'm not playing Josh Downs over McLaurin.
I'd still play Terry. Like
I'm probably
if
staying
Terry's
with
someone
him.
that I'm already playing, then Mariota's not going to scare me off of him.
And then we're going to see what the running back room looks like without Austin Eckler, who is getting the majority of the work. There's going to be Bill. There'll be plenty of Bill, but there'll also be some Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols.
We did have a quote from Cliff Kingsbury talking about Bill, saying that the challenge is going to be playing without the ball. Complimented him that every time he touches the ball, good things happen.
No points will be happening during those plays.
But pass protection or just running his routes properly is a big deal.
Well, he was a running back 11 in week 1, 64 in week 2. We were very afraid of Green Bay in week 2, and he did not perform, only 4 carries. At home, favored. He'll get lots of opportunities. Where does he fit into your rankings this week? Would you play him over Hampton?
Oh,
I would not.
See, I would. I would definitely play him over Hampton.
I would not play him over Hampton. I want to see 1 week of what this shakes out to be because you have McNichols. He was limited on a Wednesday, but McNichols profiles to take the passing part of Eckler's work, and then there still is that soundbite of the coaches talking about, hey, Chris Rodriguez probably is our goal line guy. So and
he'll definitely be active this week.
Yeah, he will be active. That's what I'm saying. I just want to see it of, does Bill get relegated to he's just getting some touches in between the 20s and he's not on the 2-minute drill?
I'm a little surprised that you guys are not more bullish on Bill or Billish.
I like it. I like Billish.
I am.
Big old Krowski.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, you can win a game of Connect 4 in 3 moves.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
So you're all
I'm
in?
just more. I'm much more confident. I mean, like you said, you want to see a game and how it shakes out. Well, he did play with Austin Eckler in week 1 and was a top 12 running back. I feel like we haven't seen one game of Omari and Hampton where he is good for fantasy. So it's like the standard needs to be the same on both sides. And I like the fact that they're home. I like the fact that he's supposed to be the guy. Chris Rodriguez, quote or not, healthy scratch. I mean,
sure.
McNichols dealing with a hamstring. I am more Billish.
Okay.
I'm more Billish.
All right.
McLaurin and Debo. Debo's been good. Zach Ertz, your start of the week, Jason. And we talked about Jaden Daniels on the other side. Ashton Genty.
Keep playing him.
I'm trying to trade for him.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. He came out and talked about getting more carries, more touches. They're going to do that. He is so much better than their other options. They will figure it out. They will give him the work.
Lauby out there.
I did see
Lauby
Lauby.
stuff.
So I'm not worried at all. Genty is definitely someone you try to trade for.
Both of these teams have been good against the run so far, 2 weeks in, for what it's worth. Jacoby Myers, 7th most targets in the NFL. Brock Bowers, you play him unless he's out for some reason, which he won't be. But I did not bring me joy watching him run around with a brace on.
Well, he's going to be playing with one.
It didn't look. I mean, you just don't like it.
I paid up to get him in a chopped league, and I immediately regret it. I worry that it's going to be a month or so before he looks like himself. He had 8 targets. He will be involved. You have to play him. But the upside of him just dominating NFL defenders and linebackers that can't handle his speed and safeties that can't handle his size, like, he doesn't have that extra 10% that makes him so special right now with a knee brace on.
You might have taken that toilet trophy from Geno Smith, who earned it last week with his performance. Is he going to be able to do enough in this matchup?
If I'm in a 3-quarterback league, I'm definitely
Okay.
throwing
All
him
right.
in.
All right. Well, that was Fantasy Forecast presented by Prize Picks. Check out max discounts on the app now, like Patrick Mahomes at more than 0.5 passing yards for September 21st. Use the code footballers and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. We'll be back tomorrow with the rest of the matchups, the fantasy face-off, which will be tweaked and improved.
My shame.
And Mike's shame.
My shame.
The wheel of shame shall come.
Like normally when you get the shame, you're upset about it. You're like, I got hosed. No. I mean, I got hosed because Russ decided to be the greatest quarterback he's ever been.
Let's just say you were buried.
Yeah.
And tomorrow you're gonna
emerge.
You're gonna peek out of the ground tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Let's leave it at
What
that.
am I, a zombie?
Well, you'll
TBD.
find out. You'll find out
Okay.
with the wheel of shame. So stay tuned, one and all. Check out the Footcast if you want an extra episode at jointhefoot.com, and we'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.